Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Can someone look for Wafula Chebukai and tell him to relax? Because I have a feeling that Wafula Chebukai has got sleepless nights. He is a man under siege and it seems he is suffering from some guilty conscience. Kindly look at this tweet that Wafula Chebukai did, and he was saying, I'm honored to be invited by Pali Center, ICPS and the Portuguese Electoral Commission to the 19th International Electoral Affairs Symposium, which will gather representatives from the electoral democracy community to share best practices initiatives for adaptation in 120 countries. Apparently, he got that invitation. And then he gave us his credentials, what looks like a CV. And this is what he's captioned there, that Wafula Chebukai is the former chairman at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Kenya. And then there's a long indication that Wafula is the former chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission in Kenya and former president of the General Assembly of Association of African Election Authorities. During his tenure, just look at that, during his tenure, he displayed exceptional leadership by overseeing comprehensive electoral reforms and fostering an environment of cooperation and trust among various stakeholders due to his unwavering commitment to transparency and accountability. His tenure emphasized the vital role of integrity in the democratic process. He is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya with 37 years post-qualification experience and a trained legislative drafter and policy formulator. He holds a bachelor's of laws and a master of business administration degree. So Wafula is opening his CV. In other words, he's reminding us of who he is, and I felt like laughing. But why do you think Wafula Chebukai decided to showcase his CV and to inform Kenyans that he's been invited? Because apparently this is a conglomeration of countries, bodies, chairpersons of bodies that are mandated to manage elections. And before we get into that, because I feel like Wafula wanted to test reactions of Kenyans on what is happening, let us look at 3 responses and you will know what Kenyans think about Wafula before we delve so much. Now, after this tweet, someone called Onyango Okelo responded to this tweet and look at what he wrote, that Cast is the man who got us all into this mess. Cast is him that led Kamago into our servers. Cast is him that manipulated our votes. Cast is him that decided on Kenyans' choice. Cast is him that silenced our voice. Cast is the man Wafula Chebukai, because he wanted to know the reaction. Now, there's another person here who wrote the following, that Tugeges, Chebukati, pastors, hot air, Kamago, and white man now see the situation you have put Kenyans in by installing corruption and incompetency. How on earth does a citizen of a country renew his citizenship? God must punish you. And this person called Japolo was looking at the situation where it had been announced that for you to renew your ID you needed 2,000 shillings, and if you want to acquire one you need 1,000 Kenya shillings. I think that decision has been reversed when people made a lot of noise. And there is another thing that he's saying, when Meg Whitman regretted or purportedly regretted her sentiments that the 2022 elections were the most credible. I've just sampled those two. But why do you think Wafula Chebukati was doing this? Because we Kenyans have moved on, and I want to start by asking you, do you even care whether Wafula Chebukati has been invited to give a keynote speech in heaven? Do you even care? Because currently, if you look at some of the sentiments, in fact, there were a lot of sentiments, and 99% of them were people chasing him away. Because he's giving this tweet at a time when Kenyans are suffering, the cost of living is just too high. The government has increased, taxes in almost everything. Apparently, it was the IDs, death certificate, birth certificate. There is increment of VAT or taxes on land, on fuel products, on everything, electronic gadgets. So this tweet really infuriated many, and many feel that he is the one who got us where we are. But the people who invite Wafula Chebukati in such a meeting, and Wafula gives us his credential as a man who is good, who is full of integrity, do they really understand who Wafula is? And I want us to look at some of the loopholes that they might have ignored, and I want to wonder very loudly whether Wafula Chebukati will be free to share with them some of these loopholes. If you're watching us for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. You can also like and share our videos. To all our supporters, allow me to thank you in a very special way for making this channel to be where it is. Wafula Chebukati has presided over elections twice, in 2013 and 2017. Now, in 2013, the Supreme Court scrutinized and came to a conclusion that was okay. In 2017, it was controversial. In 2017, the Supreme Court, under the leadership of the former Chief Justice David Maraga, scrutinized and found out that the IEBC that was being chaired by Wafula Chebukati decided or ignored that they were not going to conduct elections in accordance with the law, and that election was nullified. And I hope he will be, as he gives a keynote speech, he will be telling the Portuguese or that body that invited him that very fact, that he presided over an election that was very shambolic and it was nullified. I also want to request Wafula Chebukati to tell them that in 2013, the IT guru Musando was killed under his watch, and to date, we have not unraveled the mystery behind the death of one of the staff of the IEBC, because he was the chairman, and we do not know what happened up to date. And I believe as he gives a keynote speech, he will be telling them that they lost one of the most credible IEBC experts under his watch. And he will also be telling them that under his watch, one of the IEBC commissioners in 2017 flee from the country into the US fearing for her life. I'm talking about Rosalind Akombe. And Rosalind Akombe keeps on tweeting because she still feels the pain of losing a colleague. And I remember when Musando's mother died, Akombe tweeted that she's very sad that those who killed the IT guru are walking scot-free. And so these are some of the things that I believe Wafula Chebukati is going to tell that summit as he speaks to them. Let us come to 2022. I hope Wafula Chebukati will tell them that again, Irene Masit and Cherera have also run away, fearing for their lives as a result of an election that Wafula Chebukati presided over. And I also want to believe that he's going to tell them that he presided over an election that led the commission being divided into two, 4 of them disagreeing with his decision to announce opaque results, ignoring their plea to scrutinize the results before they were announced. And is also going to tell them that just like in 2017, that election resulted into 2 of his colleagues running away because the powers that be wanted to kill them. And I believe that Wafula Chebukati is going to tell them that that election was so controversial, and when he was pushed to open the server, to date the IEBC are afraid of opening that server. And so when Wafula Chebukati came out, giving us his CV, people are very sad and mad at the same time. Because look at where he has plunged the country into. High taxes, insecurity. There is uncertainty. People don't even know what next is going to be taxed. There's a joke in the country that very soon the government will start taxing oxygen. William Ruto has been called very many names. The Kaunda Uongo man, Zakayo Mtoza Ushuru, because of his character. And this is all because of Wafula Chebukati, Meg Whitman, and the Supreme Court led by the hot air Madam Koome. And yet, he's got the guts to come and start telling us of who he is and where he has been invited. Do we even care? And, ladies and gentlemen, I want to finish by reading Proverbs 28 verse 1. It says, "The wicked flee when no one pursueth them, but the righteous are bold as a lion." Wafula Chebukati is running away and no one is fleeing him because he is guilty of what he did. Because people are suffering and he understands that it is because of his poor decision. I don't know what you think, but that is my take.